Hi, today we're going to talk a little bit about the inspiration project, the directions, the rubric, and we're going to look at inspiration to remember some of the important things that we need to do when creating this project. As you see on the desktop, I currently have the rubric open, and we went through all of these directions together. Your direction sheet, I believe, says Inspiration 10, but we noticed that when we got onto student machines, it is actually Inspiration 8. So I've changed that here for you. We looked at several of the templates, and we'll look again whenever I open Inspiration, but you don't have to use a template. You can start from scratch if you wish. All of the directions here are really clear and actually really easy to follow. You simply add all of the information from the rubric below by clicking and adding notes and adding bubbles, and we'll look at that once we get into inspiration. So I just really want to throw some reminders out there for you of things that you want to put into your final project. Hopefully at home you did some pre-planning. When you initially sat down with your partner, you probably divided up this rubric in a way that was good for you and your partner to decide who would do what. And when you're creating your final project, I really want you to be careful to put the protagonist, the antagonist, which are the major characters, as well as the minor or secondary characters in there. Remember, it tells you not to just list them, but to describe them. Your description can be bullet pointed, it could be words and phrases, or it could be paragraphs. Point of view. I've added this down here because we put this on the chalkboard in class, but in case you didn't take notes, remember we talked about a first-person narration, we talked about a third-person omniscient narration, and we talked about a third-person limited. What type of narration is being used when we tell Ricky Tikki Tavi? When we get down to page 2, letter C talks about the setting. We want to list at least 5 specific details with descriptions and citations of page numbers that you found that information in the textbook if appropriate. Conflict. We did again talk about types of conflict. These 5 types are the ones we really highlighted in class. Character versus character, character versus self, character versus nature, character versus supernatural, and character versus society. I want you to list and describe a major and a minor conflict within the story. I want you to identify specific plot features. I want you to identify a major and a minor theme. Remember, we said that the theme is what lesson the writer is trying to convey through the story. Same thing applies to theme that applies to conflicts. There can be major and minor themes and or conflicts going on throughout this story. I want you to also look for examples of figurative language. We talked about a few of those. We said that one possibility could be the use of a metaphor, maybe a simile, onomatopoeia. Oh, I even spelled it right. No, I didn't spell it right the first time. I have a hard time spelling that word. Let's see if they'll help me. There we go. Change it. And there are other ones that I'm sure that you can think of on your own. Finally, the literary element that we're highlighting for the story is suspense. How did the author use suspense? So that's our rubric. Don't forget to refer to it when you're doing your story or when you're doing your actual project. If you're at home working, you should be making good notes so that you can come into class and be prepared to just start typing away and finishing up your inspiration. I'm going to minimize, and I'm going to close this window, and I'm going to open Inspiration 10 and just walk through quickly for you. We always click OK. I am going to open my sample from the desktop that I started making today. You'll notice it's very generic in comparison to the ones I really want you to create, but I have added certain bubbles, different shapes. I've even added some pictures, and I really am only putting in these bubbles words, basic words. When I want to expand and add more detail, I would simply click on the note button, and it allows me to open it up and expand. This story is a piece of classic literature and is based on the Jungle Book. So you can add extra details in the notes section. Don't forget, you can toggle between the outline format to see that all of your information is in the right place and the diagram. So good luck, have fun in creating, play around with some of the different shapes and the different interesting pictures that you can add, and you'll continue to work on this project until it's complete. Don't forget, you need to type or print out for me a graphic organizer and an outline.